Okay, hello again. We talked in the previous lecture about the requirements, water requirements, and the total water demand. And there is some points that I just want to remind you that we had. There is a consumption rate, which is what? The consumption rate is the quantity or the amount of the water that needs to be consumed by a person, a standard person, which is called capita. So capita is a normal adult person that will consume a certain amount of water for what? For domestic use. This is including drinking, bathing, household, and other things, gardening. And then we have for industrial and commerce. This is will depend on the industry scale or industry size of the industry itself. The other thing that we say that we have a private, the public sector and the buildings in the public sector, public buildings and hospitals, schools, the other institutions that we have in public. And then there is should be also, which will consume between 50 to 70 liter per capita per visitor, you can say, per person, and so on. The last thing that we have is 20%, which is mostly is the losses that we may have in the network, in the distribution network inside the city. Somehow in the city there's we will somehow there will be a leak from the jointing for the joints, and somehow sometimes there will be due to pressure, excess pressure, there will be a damage in a pipe and so on. So it can be said that we will assume that we have 20% losses in the system. And the other one, the other main important point for you, if you want to roughly estimate how much is the needed for water, we can estimate the domestic one by multiplying the average demand by the total number or the forecasted number of the persons. This will give you allocated water for the domestic use. What is the WHO ask us to provide for the people is it should be between it will be between 250 to 350 mostly per person per capita. Then in Slimani we are using 250 liters per capita per day. Now multiplying this number by the available or the people in the city, this will give you the consumption or the demand for water. Now we say that this is for domestic. If you are not precisely, you are not sure how many industries that we have, you are precisely not have any enough information about the leaks and the old distribution system, then you can multiply this number by 2, then you will get a roughly estimated total demand for that city for that period. Now, this was as an estimation. We have another item which is also very important to be added to the demand, to this demand, which is called the fire demand. And what is the fire demand? Why we need water for the fire extinguishing? Usually the fires will be extinguished by water supply, and usually we will have 2 types of fire extinguishing systems, one outdoor and one indoor. And the outdoors, the indoors will we can see them in the university that you are in, and sometimes in the buildings you can see the hose wheel, and this will be in red, and this is the fighter device. Excuse me. And also, this is called indoors firefighting systems. There is maybe in the last of this semester when we are about to complete the sewer design. We are going to have a plumbing system. The plumbing system is including water, hot water, cold water, sewer in building. Also, the sprinklers is how to design the indoor sprinkler system for the buildings. It will be included in the plumbing system. Now, this is for indoor buildings. For outdoors, we have to provide fire hydrants. What is the fire hydrants? This is the fire hydrants that we have. We said that the fire hydrants, it look like a location that we have to have water from these 3 or maybe 4 inlet points. This will be connected to the track hose, and this fire hydrant is this one. Then it will be connected to the main distribution pipe system for the city. That's usually will be allocated down the street. Usually this pipe will be connected to the, look at this one, this is a concrete, it's called concrete holding block to fix, not to let the fire hydrants sway. And it will be because the pressure of water is very high here, and when it's when we are opening this valve, it will go out here, and it will impact this block, and we have to be careful. Should be the valves and this bend. This is called 90-degree elbow. This should be supported by concrete. Now. Also, we have this, some of them are using concrete, some of them are using stone. Now, my point is that this is a fire hydrant is used to deliver water from it. And the minimum size diameter of this fire hydrant will be, it should not be less than 4 inches. So the diameter should be more than 6, and it should be higher than the ground level, at least by 1.5 feet to avoid because we have to connect the hoses here. And lastly, what is the capacity of delivering water from this fire hydrants? We said the fire hydrants was designed earlier to at least have 250 gallons per minute. What's the GPM? The G is for gallon, P is for per, M for minute, so gallon per minute. And as I said, the gallon or the standard gallon will be equal to how many liters?
3.785.
5, correct, very good. So every 1 gallon will represent to me, 1 gallon will represent at least 3.785, and this is the standard gallon. And we have the American one, which is usually bigger than the standard, about
2.2.
4.2, something like that, liter. Now, the minimum available hydrants for us is 250, but there is a coloring code for the fire hydrants, and we have a red one. And usually we saw the red ones, but the red ones is 250. It's less than 500 in general. But if you saw in other places that like orange color fire hydrants, this means that you have somehow the area is sensitive to fire, so they need to have at least more capacity. More capacity, it means that the pipes is connected to the fire hydrants connected to a pipe in larger diameter than 4 inches, and the capacity should be between 1,000 and less. Then the green one will give us an indication. No, there is more need for water, and it will be between 1,000 to 1,500. And lastly, we have the 1,500. Usually, will be for the refineries, for the industries that we may have explosion and so on. Now, this is all what we have an idea about the fire hydrants. Now, where we have to put the fire hydrants, for example, if let me share with you there was let me say this is a master plan of an area. This is master plan means that there is a blocks. This is a plan for a city, and there will be another way here. I don't know, somewhere we will have like this. So these are all, this is the plan of a city. So where should I put a fire hydrant's location? At every corner of the buildings, we should put at least a fire hydrant. Now, this is one. The other things that we may have, maybe this block is too high. For example, it's about 150 meters length. It means there are many houses here in this one. So what should I have to do is say that between 80 meters to 100, you should put at least one fire hydrant. And even you don't have a corner. So if I have 150, so I should put at least one in the middle. So I will put it here, then there will be 150 divided by 275 meters from this fire hydrant. So one fire hydrant, two fire hydrants, three fire hydrants needed for this block. And why I put it in the middle? Because I say that here's the location should be put it. Yeah. So between 80 meters to 100 meters, every 80 to 100 meters needed we have to have at least a fire hydrant. For our city, usually the plan, or let me say the width of the front view of the houses, it will be between 10 to 20. So 10 to 20 meter is the width of usually normal houses that we have in Slimani. Now 100 divided 10, if I would like to take the minimum, so it means 100 meters divided by 10. So at least every 10 houses you should allocate a one fire hydrant for them. So you have to count from 1 to 10. Then you have to have at least a fire hydrant in that point. Now, that's at least. You can add more if you want. And if in this case we have 150, so for geometric and symmetric cases, we will put one fire hydrant in the middle and then the other ones here. Now, this is the both requirements of the where to place the fire hydrants. And the third one, yeah, we have to have a fire hydrant should be connected with pipes of 4-inch or more. Any question regarding the fire hydrants? Hello?
Sir,
Yes, please.
could you please go back to the drawing that you drew? The sketch.
The sketch?
Yes, please.
You want to see the sketch? Okay. Yeah. You want to see this one?
Yes. I was wondering if it's also necessary to add fire extinguishers, even if, let's say, the two buildings are very close to each other. So, for example,
yeah. You mean here another one?
Yes, I was wondering if this is necessary as like the two buildings are near each other, so they are very close. Do we need to put at the corners as well?
Correct. What I said that this is for every building should be repeated. So here's and here and here. This will be the corner, and this will be connected each to one single pipe in the bottom. Sometimes we don't have enough space to put those main pipes. So what should we need? We need to have at least above this building, we should have a storage tank just for fire. So this fire hydrant will be allocated, will be connected to this storage tank, and then so that we have available water everywhere. That's when we have, sometimes when we are suffering from having enough, let me say, enough water in this tank. So there is a storage tank. Yes, we should have put here also and here also, and by the way, there is a standard for a fire hydrant. It means that, like your colleague said, that if this building have a fire in it, so this building may be affected by the fire. So what should we do? We will use the water to spray on this fire and also in this building. However, this building is not having any fire, but we need to do it for preventing the fire to escape to that building. Now, I think you have a table on for the quantity of the fire for adjacent building. It's called adjacent building. This is, no. There is, I think there's in the book. I think it's in the book. Just let me find it. Book. Where's the textbook? Yeah. I think here's the book. You can see the requirements of the fire hydrant. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Can you see this table? This is the table that it will be very important. This is the table that we may need them for the case that your colleagues say that we need them. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay. Here's the table. This table will tell us what? What does the needed additional quantity of the fire needed for the building? And later we will start. There's a two equation for calculating the amount of the water that needs for every standard fire. Besides of this amount, which is essentially for having to fighting a fire, we need more fire. This is for an adjacent building, and you can see if the buildings is let me say there is a building here, we allocated fire demand for this building, and there is a two equation for that. It's called ISF, I think, National Broad. There's two equation for that one. I would like to discuss that one. But the fire demand for this building, you have, this is what we calculated in this one. And there is an adjacent building to this building. And you have to be aware about the distance. If there is, the distance is was more than 30.5. 30.5 meters. So what should we add? We should add only 500 gallons per minute additional to what this fired building needed. Now, if you can see, if the distance was small, it means this building was closer to the fired building, means we need much more water for this one. So until we will get less than 3. So till we have 3 meters. So every 3 meters, this is the worst condition. The worst condition is the buildings that have a fire in it, and the adjacent one is close to this one. The distance between them is 3 meters. So what should we do? We should add about 100,500 to 2,500 gallons. Will be extra amount that's needed to extinguish this buildings and the risk of having a fire in the other building. I don't know whether it was clear or.
Yes, sir, it was. Thank you.
Doctor,
Yes.
one question.
Yes, please.
How do we know that, like, the distance, the more the distance, the more the less, or the less
Yeah.
gallon per minute we need of
Needed,
water?
yeah. So as far as you have, this is logic that if you have the distance between the two buildings are too far, too long, it means there is less possibilities for the fire to escape from a building to another one. This is one. The second thing, this table has been prepared by those companies, those insurance companies, that they have to account everything, and including the distance, the adjacent distance between the two buildings. So they have calculated this amount. So this is let me say, this is a standard. They found that one. We don't have any equation for that one. They put it in the table in this way. But for calculating the demand for the building that have a fire in it, so there's, as I said, there's two equation. Here's the two equation. One of the equations called insurance service formula, ISF. The other one is called NBF. So ISF and NBF are the two common equations that used for calculating the fire demand. The fire demand for the building that have a fire in it. Which fire? The fire that's called standard fire. So what is the standard fire is? Can I have your answers? Ahmed Karzan. Ahmed, are you with us? Ahmed. Akar. Ali? Okay. Barham?
Yes, sir. What was your question?
The question is what I mean by the standard fire. Yes, the standard
fire that occurs not.
That occurs. Yes.
That occurs naturally, or?
Of course, naturally, but I mean by the natural fire in terms of counting the quantity of water for it. So it should be one fire per day. This is the other thing, that the duration of the fire should be between
no more than 10 hours.
Yeah, very good. No more than 10 hours, and it will be varied from 4 to 10 hours, right? Now, this is a standard normal fire occurred naturally. Then we have two formula for accounting the demand of water for the buildings. One is called ISF. What is the ISF is mean? This is a formula. They say that the F is the gallon per minute. This is the fire demand. The fire demand for that fire will be F, and it's empirical equation. By the way, this is empirical equation. Will be equal to 18 times C times square root of A. And this A is the area that will be when we have a fire on that building. So if I have this is a house, if this is a house or a flat, anyway, so the area of this flat, so they say that as much as you have more area, so logically you need more water, right? Am I right?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so this formula, they say that, okay, how many is the area that is supposed to have a fire in it? It will be in terms of feet square. So what you need to substitute the values in feet square for that building in that area here, and then you have to ask, this formula asks us to a coefficient related to the type of construction. Ordinary means that usually normal, maybe we have concrete inside, when we have wood, and we have, so it's called ordinary one. So C will be equal to 1 in case that we have ordinary building. And guess what? If I have a wood, for wood buildings, so logically say that C should be more than 1. Why should be more than 1? Because we need more, as you can see in this table. You can see more and more needed. Yeah, here's the C. So that one. I think it's somewhere here. Yeah.
It was in the slides as well, I think.
I think in this slide. Yeah. Yeah, where's this? Yeah. Yeah, this is an ordinary one. So for the ordinary buildings, we need only 1. We will use the value of C as C at 1. And for wood, we need to have at least 1.5. So we substitute this is 1 by 1.5. Now, will be substituted in terms of feet square. Will be substituted as a coefficient without any factor. The 18 is existing. So what I get the value of F, which is a gallon per minute. That's the flow of this fire need. Now, the question is, what if I have a double-story building? So if I have a double-story building, this is flat, and this is story 1, and there is, okay, there is something else here. Okay, this is the second floor, this is the first floor. So what I have to add, I have to we have, this is area 1, this is area 2. So what I should add, y1 plus a2, and I say this a in the equation will equal to a1 plus a2. Otherwise, it means in another meaning, the A will be the total area of that building. Okay? Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this equation will depend on the area, much what fire flow needed for the fire extinguishing. The double story means double. We have to add the number of the stories and time the area of one story by the number of the stories to get the total area, and then we will calculate the F. This is for the multi-story buildings. The other equation is called the National Board Formula, NBF. The NBF is say that, okay, then there will be a needed for fire for that building. For example, inside a city, there is a multi-story buildings. So for these multi-story buildings, we have to count the area and multiply this area by the number of the stories, and then we will calculate is the F, the fire demand for that building. What about the other poor peoples here in the city? So we may have the fire in that city, not in the building. Will be calculated as a G. G is also the fire demand for general people, and this is also will be a GPM, gallon per minute needed for the citizens, for the people in that city. And you can see there is a P here. This P is the population in thousands. Means what? Means if I have a city with 10,000 capita or people, this is the population. So the value of P of this equation will be equal to how much? Mishta? Hello? Maryam?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, the equation is here. The equation is say that we have for the poor people in the city, we need to calculate the fire demand for them, right? And for the multi-story building, we say that we need F is and as a function of area, the total area of the all stores that we have here, times the square root of them in T squared times the C is the type of the building times the 18 will get the F. For the other peoples in the city, we have to know their number, population. So if I have their population like equal 10,000 people in that city, so usually we need to calculate the fire demand for those 10,000 by using this equation. This equation is say that it's 1020 square root of P times this 1 minus 0.01 times the P, and the P is the population in thousands. Now, my question was, if the population was 10,000 people here, how much I should substitute here?
I think it should be 10.
Yeah, right, very good. So 10,000 is the population, so means what? Means P will be equal to 10. So the G is the gallon per minute that needs for the should be allocated for the fire in that city will be equal to 1020 square root of
10.
E, which is 10, yeah? 1 minus 0.01 square root of 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
This is, it will be equal to 3123, which is 3,123. 31.
Yeah,
23.
23.5
0.5.
GPM, right?
Yeah.
That's gallon per minute, correct. Mariam?
Yes, it is Maria.
So you get 1 point. Uh, uh, so yeah, as I told you, the gallon per minute that we have in this for the 10,000, it will be 23.5 gallon per minute. And if I have now, this is the G for the general people in the city, for that F, and if I want to find the total, The total for fire, it will be equal to F plus G. Am I right? So we need to for F, the value of F, the fire demand for the multi-story will be equal to F. For the people sittings will be equal to G. The total fire demand will be the sum of those two values that do. And now tell me what will be the total demand for the people in that city, including fire and domestic. So I already counted for the fire. What's left for me is to calculate the consumption, which is equal to population times the rate. That 10,000 people that we have in this city, every one of them, they may need per day how much? 250 liter per capita per day. So it will be about 2,500, right? 0.25
Yes.
meter cube per day. And so we have to add that 250 meter cube per day to the total fire demand. And be aware that G and F are in gallon per minute. You have to convert that one to also to unify between the units and add them. This is what called the total demand, including fire and domestic. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
when you were talking about the rate, you were taking the average usage of a capita of like the average
250.
rate?
The 250. This is the consumption rate per person.
Yes.
Yeah. Then this is a standard value. If it was not given to you, you can assume it as a 250. But usually, this is have been placed by the WHO, World Health Organization.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we are in Slimani using that number usually, or less, by the way. It's not 250. They are using 250 inside the city for the rural area, and for the other areas, rural, they are using less, 200, and then it will become 150, which is, I don't know. And now,
Doctor,
yes.
now what we do with that 250 meter cube per capita per day?
Sorry, this 250 cube is the total. Now, what I mean by 250, 200 liter per capita per day, this is the allocated per person. We should have for everyone per day 250. So if it was not given to you, you can use that one. But for this example, for this city, like we have 10,000 people inside this people, so 10,000 people person times 250 liter per capita per day will come with 2,500, I think. 2,500, yeah. So 2,500 meter cube per day needed for that city just for drinking, domestic use. Plus, what we need for the fire for that building, it will be as a summation of the F and the G. The F is the fire for that multi-story building, and the G is the fire demand for the whole rest citizens. So adding them together will give you a total demand. And be aware, this is will be per day. This is will be the fire total demand gallon per minute of the fire. So you need, for example, the 3,123.5 gallon of water per minute of the fire, right? So
Doctor,
yes.
excuse me, can you please just solve that part, that last part? How do we find the
Yeah,
total?
I'm solving that. There is an example on that, but I've just given you an idea, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, here's the idea. The idea is okay. Uh, No. We have this example. A community with a population of 22,000 capita. So there is a community with 22,000 people have an average rate of water consumption. So there is a community. This community, we have a population of 22, right? Population is equal to 22,000 capita, right? Now, everyone, the consumption rate is equal to 600 liter per capita per day. By the way, in the United States, the cities in general, they need more than 500 liter per capita per day. So they are rich people and they need water. And this is per capita per day, and a fire flow dictated by a 6-story. So we have inside this area, we have a building. This building is how much? It's 6-story building. And the area of each floor, and this building is an ordinary one. Ordinary structure, it means the value of the C, which is in the equation of F, will be equal to 1. Now, the area in each of those 6 stories, every area is equal to 1,000 meters square. Now, means what? Means the total area will be equal to 6 times 1,000. So we have 6,000 meters square, the total area of that building. Now, the question is, determine the maximum water demand during the fire. So means that usually those 22,000 people in this area, they need water. So per day, let me say this is solution. So water demand or domestic water demand is, we have how many? This is 22,000 people in that city, capital, times 600 liter per capita per day. Or you can say 0.6, will be 0.6, or anyway. So how much it will become? So 6 times 22, which will be 132. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yes,
Which
sir.
is equal to 13.2 million liter. So this is per day. Some people are writing this way, million liters per day. And you can use this, or you can use in terms of meter cube per day. And which means 0.6 times 22,000. It will be equal to 13,200 meter cube per day. Now, this is the domestic. This is called average. So average Q, this is the average Q for it. Why it's average? Because this 600 is what? Is an average rate. So this will be an average. Now, how to find maximum? Maximum need. So usually we need 13,200 meter cube per day. But in terms of maximum, so Q maximum usually is equal to Q average times a factor, peaking factor. And peaking factor is what? Peaking or peak factor usually is a factor used for maximizing the average of demand, of water demand. And this will equal to 180 times T to the power minus 0.1. And this is called good, rich, formula. The Goodrich formula is a formula that used just for maximizing. For example, if you have average hourly demand and you need to find the maximum hourly demand, you have to multiply the average by the peaking factor for the hourly. Now, by the way, T will be in terms of days. Now, for example, in our case, we have average daily Q average daily. So daily and maximum daily will equal peaking factor times Q average daily. I have this Q average daily, but the peaking factor, how to find this one? I will say the factor will equal to 180 times T, which here in our case is 1 because I'm calling for daily, minus 0.1, which means equal to 1.8. Everything to 1 power, everything is equal to 1. So it's equal to, this is will be in percentage, by the way. So 1, which is equal to 180%, which is equal to 1.8. That means that 13.2, 30,200 meter cube per day, when I will multiply it by 1.8, it will give me a maximum required. We have in our projects, we have to consider the total demand, the maximum total demand for that city. So how much it will be times 1.8? So
23,760.
750.
60.
60.
No, sir, 60, not
Meter cubed. 60, sir.
60, yeah. 23,760, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Meter
meter cube per day. So this is the maximum water needed just for the domestic use. And again, I will repeat, this factor will come with just converting the average to go and to find it as a maximum. Before going to the I will come back to this factor later. Remember that we will use that one for maximize. Now, we are done with the domestic. So what's left for me? What was the question? Is to find the demand, the maximum demand for what? For this city, for demand, and which is fire should be included.
The factor I think is given from the question.
Yeah, it's given, but this is, if it is not given, you can find it in this equation. It's Goodrich formula. It's 180 times T to the power minus 1.
Yeah.
So the question is to find the maximum demand. This was only for domestic. Now we have to calculate for the fire also. So I should find the Q fire will be equal to Q, the F plus G, right? F is for that ordinary building that we have. F is equal to 18 times C times square root of A. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so 18 times. Now, what is the value of this C? It's an ordinary building.
1.
It's a 1.
1.
Times. Now, the area that we have for all the 6 floors is 6 times 1,000, that's 6,000 meters square, right? Times.
Yes, sir.
Remember that this formula will the fact for using this one, it should be in feet square, then you will get GPM. So means you have to convert the 6,000 meter square to feet square. How to do that? I will say 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet, right? And squaring here, it will come squaring here, it will become squaring here. So now this meter square and meter square will cancel out. So what I have here, I have 8 times 1 times 6,000 times 10.7, I think
It's all,
8, right?
the final answer is 4,461.67.
Very good. This is gallon per minute. Remember, this is gallon per minute. And there is in meter cube. The first one is in meter cube per day. So what should I do? So let's stay, this is will be F. Let's calculate for G, and then I will convert both of them in one step. G is for the poor people, which is 120 times the square root of P1 minus 0.01 times square root of P. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Here's the equation. Yeah. 1,020 P1 minus 0.01 square root of P.
P is 22, I think.
Yeah, as population is equal to 22,000, then P will be in this formula equal 22. So we have to substitute the value of P.
It is 4,559.8.
Very good.
0.8.
1 minus 0.01. Okay, both of you are having 1 point. That 2.
Thank you very much, sir.
Who and who, please?
It's
Barham,
Maryam and Barham.
Maryam and Barham. So Barham and Maryam. Okay, just remind me in the final.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have 1,000, 20, 22, and the final answer was
4,559.82.
GPM. Now the total fire, Q fire is equal to the F, which is the 40,461.67 plus 4,559.82, and it will become
9,021.21.
9,021. 21?
Yes. 0.49.
This is GPM. Now we will convert it to make it meter cube. So it should multiply by and gallon per minute. Now, well, the gallons here is equal to 3.785 liter, and 1,000 liter is 1 meter cube. So liter with liter, gallon with gallon. Now times the minutes that we have. Here's the minute and here's the per day, right? So we have 24 hours, and in each hour we have 16 minutes. Then the minute and the minutes will cancel out, so the result will be in meter cube per day. Am I right? So 9,021.49 times 3.785 times 24 times 60 divided by 1,000.
186.11.
186.11. Now remember this number 186.1 meter cube needed for a fully day fire. But in the reality, we don't. The day in this fire is not 24 hours. While when we are adding this fire to the normal day, then the 1186.1 meter cube per day, then the fire day is 10 hours and the normal day is 24 hours, right? So means what? Means we need to multiply this 186.1 by 10 over 24. Why I am doing this? Because later I will add this Q fire to the domestic one. The domestic one, the day is 24 hours, while the day in the fire is 10 hours. So that's why I'm adding the Q fire, like factorizing it. So 186.11 times 10 divided by 24 is equal to
77.54.
77.54 meter cube per normal day. Okay. Yes. Now the QO maximum per day that we have, the daily maximum is equal to domestic maximum domestic plus the fire that I need. The maximum daily is 13, sorry, it was, yeah, it was 23,760. 23,760. This is meter cube per day. Plus the fire that we have here. Are you sure about this number? The GPM? 9,000 times 24. Because I think it's more.
Let me do it, sir.
Okay, 9,021.49 times 3.785 times 24 times 60. And it will be divided by 1,000. It's not okay.
It's 49.
49,170.
170.
Okay, then this 49,000 should be multiplied by times divided by 24.
It is 20,487.
20,487. This is
Point 8.
yeah, by 8. It's a cube per day. So it's 20,487.8 meter cube per day. Now the latest answer will be 23,760 plus 20,487.8 meter cube per day. So what we have to do, okay, 23,487.8 plus 23,760. So the result is 47,247.8. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So this is called the maximum daily needed for the domestic use, for the domestic and the fire. If you want just for the domestic without the fire, you can say we need only 23,716. And it looked like
Sir, I think it is 44,247.8.
why 23,000 plus 20,000, that's 43,000. And it's not 47. Yeah, I think we did a mistake. This is 20,048.
Yes, it is 44,247.8.
Yeah, correct. 44,000.
247.
247.
200, sir, not 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it looks like we are doubling the demand for the water to just cover the fireworks. Now remember that I told you that we have a factor for peaking. Those peaking factor that will be used for, or it's called Goodrich formula. When it's equal, the factor is equal to 180% times t to the power minus 0.1. So if I need to find this factor for converting average weekly to maximum weekly, so what should I do? It means t in this case is equal to 7, right? Days, because I'm talking this will be in day. So what will be the factor? The factor is equal to 180%. By the way, will be the factor will be in percent, is equal to t here is 7 times power 0.1.
It's 148.17.
Very good, 148.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means 1.5. 148%. It means 1.48. It's look like I am 1.5 of the average. While in our case for the daily, it was 1.8. So as much as you are going, the t was longer, it has a larger value of t, it means that the maximum will be closer to the average. What about the hourly? Because we are in our projects are designing the project based on the hourly demand. So the hourly demand, it means here that you have to have the hourly maximum. The maximum hourly, it means that you have to the average hourly times the factor. So the factor here for converting the average times the factor will get the maximum. The factor here is equal to 180% times t. T, how much it will be? When I'm talking about t is equal to 1 hour, which is equal to, should be in day. I should convert 1 hour to 1 day. So what should I do? I have to divide it by 24 day, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 hour means 1 hour is equal to 1 over 24 day. So when I will convert here at 1 over 24 power minus
0.
It's 1 over 24 power minus 0.1 multiplied by 180. So I think it's
This 247.33.
247.33 percentage means equal to 2.47. It's close to 2.5. So if you have an average hourly, means that in a house you need, for example, 1 meter cube average in that house per an hour. So in maximum case, or let me say in the worst condition, you have to multiply this number by 2.5 to get the peak demand. Okay, guys, you want a break?
Sure.
Okay, no,
We can finish early, sir. Can finish at 30 and without a break.
it's up to you.
And let's finish it. Because
Okay.
it's only 20 minutes for me if we finish it at 30.
Okay. Then now you know about the all the factorization of the demand and that one. Let's see into this is what I talked about. It was just to this the Goodrich formula, and it's about to just factorizing or making the the average to maximum. Here's the maximum daily, and here's the maximum hourly. How to convert maximum hourly to from average hourly? So you should multiply it by. You will put t equal to 1 over 24, and then p is equal to 0.5. So just multiply it by this one. Now, we talked a lot about the demand and what is the fire demand and what we will have a demand. By the way, I will send you homework today, and the submission will be for tomorrow. The other important thing in this chapter is, okay, this is when we said we have 22 people living in this city and they need 600 liters per capita per day. This is an average. This is for now. But in the analysis, this is for analysis. For the design, we need to find the after 20 or 30, after the design periods, needs people, or how much is the people will grow. People usually, they will grow, and there will be the growth of population. Now, there will be the change in the number of population by either will be increased by the growth, and it will be decreased by the mortality rate. So we have growth rate, we have mortality rate, and there is one more thing, it's called migration. Okay, then the number of the people in the city will be affected directly by these three terms. Usually we have in Slemania, the growth rate is 3.5% per year. Means if we have 100 people in Slemania, they will become 103.5, and the 0.5% is, I'm not meaning, and this is mathematically, we don't have 0.5. It will be either 0.1, 0.4, or 1.3. Now, mathematically, we will have 103.5 people when they will, after 1 year from now. Then, in the reality, when you want to calculate the accurate number, you have to ask for the data from the records, and the records they should include the migration and also the death rate or the mortality rate. Now, this will be the forecasting of people will be how to find the people for a design period. We have more than one methods for statistically finding the future population. We are using just two ones: arithmetic method, and the other one is called geometrical method. There are more than other 5 methods, but we are done with only those two ones. because this is not related exactly to our course, the persons and statics, they have to do that. So what is the arithmetic method and what is the geometric method? The arithmetic method, it's basically a linear method that will be used for forecasting. Now, usually we will have records, year and population. For example, if I have 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020. So if I have the population for those 5 years, so what I have to do, I will just build a formula. So I want 2010, 2020. So I need to know how much it will be the population after 30 years. So it means I'm looking for the population after 20. So the question is population of 2050 is equal to how much? Based on the previous data. In arithmetic method, it says that the population of the 2050 is equal to the population of the last recorded data, which is the population of 2020, and plus a rate. This is called K arithmetic times delta T. Delta T means the delta, the difference between the time from 2050 minus 2020 means we need 30 years. Delta T means after 30 years. So after 30 years, it means that the delta T will come. So the population at 2050 is equal to the population at 2020 plus delta T times this one. This is called arithmetic growth rate. The arithmetic growth rate means how much is per year population will be increased. Like before this, I told you that in Slemania that we have the growth rate will be 3.5 capita per every 100%. So 3.5% per a year. Now, the method is named as arithmetic for this scale. So you can see this is a linear equation, right? Linear equation. The linear equation will be here. This will be P. This will be time. So we have different P. Now till here, this is 2020, this is 2090, 2010. This is 2000, this is 1090, and this is the population, this is the year, this is the population. So what I'm looking for is the after delta T, it means after delta T, here's the delta T after 30. So how much it will be the population. So what we need is we need to find this equation for this line. Now, how to do that? How to find the K average? It will be easy peasy. So what we should do, we have to record the years, for example, 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020. Let's say this is the years. Let's say population this is like this, 2000, population in 1000. This was 30, this was 35, this was 40. Let me say this was 50. So assume that this is the equation. Assume that we have a record for this city, the city's year, and the records was this one. What I should do, I should find the delta P. So the solution to find K average arithmetic, we should first find the average or the growth rate between these two decades. So in between 19 and 80, how much was the delta P? Hello? So what was the change? Hello,
So we're here.
you are there. How much is the people?
The
In
average?
no, the
What?
change, delta. Delta, it means P minus P.
It was 3,000.
So 30,000 minus 27,000. So the change or the difference between them is 3. So this minus this. This is 30 minus 27. So the result is 3. Now for the next two ones, how much is the change? It's
5.
5,000. By the way, this is in thousand. 5. Why this is 5? Because it's 35 minus 40. Now for the third one, it's equal to, again, 5, 50. So again, we have 40 minus 50, 5. And the last one we have, between these two ones, we have 10. So the total delta P that we have is equal to 3 plus 5 plus another 5 plus 10. So the 10, 20, 23. So there was 23,000, right? And the K average arithmetic is say that it's equal to the delta P divided by the number of the decades or the numbers. How much is that, the total number? So this 23,000 have been happened during 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right? Or it is equal to 23,000 divided by 40 years. 10 days, 10, 20 years, 30, 40. Or per 44 decades. It's up to you. So it's equal to how much? It's equal to 23,000 divided
575.
5,750.
5,750. This is capita per what? Per decade.
Sir, isn't the number of years 40 years?
Okay, if you are using, which is equal to 5,575 capita per year. Look at that. This is per decade. Okay.
Ah, per decade. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Now, the question is, if I want to see how much is the population, I need 50. So it's equal to how much? So I have to, the last record that I have is population at 2020, right? So delta T here is equal to how much? Delta T is equal 2050 minus 2020, which is equal to 30 years, which is equal to 3 decades. It's up to you. Now, the question is population at 2050 is equal to the population at 2020 plus K arithmetic times the delta T. Now, the last record of the population was 50. So this will be 50,000 plus the K arithmetic that we have is equal to how much? If I'm using per year, so 575 capita per year. So I should multiply it by delta T in terms of year. Means I should multiply by 30 years. Year and years will be cancelled out. So the population at 2050 will become 50,000.
67,250.
25 plus 50,000. So 60, how much?
67,250.
This is the per capita so this is the answer will become. Now, why I need this one? Because I need now to find the average of the demand. Now, this population should be multiplied by the consumption rate per each person in the future. Okay? I think it's easy, right? So just be careful that we need to just find the delta P. The delta P is the difference between the capita, the population in the next year and before year. So now the number of the periods that we have, and one thing that we have in this method, here's the periods should be equal for the past records. Now this is the first thing. And usually this the estimation or this forecasting will give you a higher number of the population, like if you are using geometric one.
Doctor, that equation will be given.
Yeah, which is, I think, easy to know that one, but it will be given to you. It's easy to have, it's look like y equal to a plus bx. So population
Yes.
2050 is equal to population 2020 plus the b is the k arithmetic and the x is the growth rate. Now, the geometrical one is more suitable for our city. The geometrical growth rate, geometric, it will be exactly the same as population at time t will be the last record plus k times delta t, but here it's called geometric. This is k geo. What is the difference? We should use ln. So ln p population at time t will equal to ln of the population of the last record one, and we have to find the k geometric times the delta t. Means if I use the same data here, what should I do? So I'm using the previous data. If I want to use within the geometrical one, if I want to use this one, so what should I do? If I'm using geometrical one, using geometric growth rate. So first of all, we have to find population. So ln of the population, ln of those population laws. So ln of 27,000 is equal to 27,000. Ln 27,000 is equal to 10.2, and 30,000 ln 30,000 will equal to 10.308. 35,000 then is equal to 10.46, and 40,000 will equal to 10.596, and lastly ln of 50,000 will equal to 10.8 819. Now this is the ln of P. Now delta, the delta means the ln of P2 minus ln of P1. So I will detail that one to this one. So 10.31 minus 10.2 is equal to 0.11. Am I right? This is all equal to 6 minus 1.5, and this is 0.15. Then this is will become 6, 9 minus 3, 0.163, and this is will become 3, 11 minus 2, 7 minus 2. Now, this is the delta P, ln of delta P, and I will take the K geometric is equal to the summation of the ln delta P divided by, or the average of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Now, it will be equal to 0.11 plus 0.15 plus 0.136 plus 0.223 divided by 4. So it will give us 0.11 plus 0.15 plus 0.136 plus 0.223 divided by 4. So it will be the K geometric, it is equal to 0.154 per decade. Now I will use this K geometric in the equation. I will say, okay, the population of 2050, not the population, the ln of the population in 2050 is equal to the ln of the population of 2020, which is population of the then plus the K geometric times delta T. Now, the ln of 2020 is ln of 50,000 plus the K geometric is 0.154. The delta T is the difference between 2050 2020, which is equal to 2050 minus 2020, is 30 years, which is equal to 3 decades. Now, the times 3. So how much it will become? Ln of 2050 population will equal ln of 50,000 is equal to 0.223 plus 3 times 0.154 plus 0.223. So it's equal to So the result is 0.685. So that's the ln of 2050. So the population of 2050 is equal to, take the exponential for both sides, so it's 0.685. Where is the exponential? 0.685. Yeah.
I think it is 1.98.
3,000, right? Am I right? There's something wrong.
That would be in decade, I guess.
Yeah, per decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made the mistake. I think it will be divided by 40. It's 0.04, it's 0.3. Okay, ln 50,000. Ln 50,000. We have, we did a mistake here. I think the ln of 50,000 is not 0.23. It's 10.819.
Yes.
So 10.819 plus 3 times 0.154 will become, so ln equal to 11.281. Now take the exponential of 11.281.
It's 79,300.
Sorry, 79.
1,300.5.
79,300.
300.5.
Yeah. Yeah, say 79,301 capital. Now look at this number, the forecasted people population at Geneva by using geometry. Usually it will give you more than the estimated one with the arithmetic one. And this is will make you to allocate more water, or the size of the treatment plants and the networks that you, based on the calculation of geometry, means needs more, means this is will be costly than the geometric. And by the way, sometimes I will bring like this, what is the difference by using arithmetic and using the geometric? We can say in the geometric we will come up with population forecasted more than the normal one. That means we have to more cost will be.